Okay, our next question comes from Steve Isbitz.
Coach, going back to Friday's scrimmage, what really stood out from you on the film from the defense specifically?
I thought the defense, they gave up a play or two, but then they gave right back and stopped them. You know, we gave up the one long pass when Carlton slipped, and then we held them to 3. You know, so it was not like anything was going bad against them. I thought they did a good job. They probably had a couple sacks I didn't call. But overall, I was very pleased, really, really pleased with the way they showed up today.
And just diving in specifically on Tristan Worfs from Friday, his first sort of real game type action, what would you say about him?
He was fine. He was fine. I mean, the noise didn't bother him, and it didn't seem like much, but it gave me a hell of a headache, just the nonstop. But it was good for us.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Rick Stroud.
Bruce, how concerned are you with the protection, the pass protection, whether it's running backs or inside offensive line?
Really not. I mean, it showed up today. I mean, there was 11 guys that stunk. It wasn't just them. It hasn't been a problem until today. The red shirts had so much more energy in that practice than the white shirts. I think the white shirts thought they were something good after Friday, and they didn't show up today.
And it looks like you're going to bring in a couple kickers to work out. Is that correct? And is that
we'll see. We'll see if they don't sign somewhere else, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, now that you've had an opportunity to watch some of the film from the scrimmage, who were some of the guys that stood out to you, particularly some of the guys that are on the bubble and competing for roster spots, those special team guys you talked about?
Special teams wise, I thought Hagan had a nice coverage on a kickoff. Then the heat got him. But Cam Gill looks like he's heavy-handed, and he's got a good pass rush too. Bell, he was flying around pretty good. And then the normal guys that we've had, Dari and Kevin and Eau Claire, some of those guys, they were all fine. But of the young guys, those 3 guys, Russell needs to step up a little bit.
And I'm sorry if you already answered this. Do you have an update on Carlton Davis? I know he wasn't out there practicing today, but he was on the field.
No, he'll be fine.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Greg Allman.
Bruce, in terms of the depth on your offensive line, I just want to ask you what Aaron Stinney has shown you to set himself up as one of the top backups there at guard.
Yeah, I mean he finished up the season last year real well. He came back in. I'd like to see him to be a little more consistent. He's been a little bit up and down for me. He's not a natural center. I think that's taken away from some of his guard play. We're trying to force him into being a center just in case. And I think that's hurt him a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Steve Isbitz.
Coach, how do you think the team discipline is as it relates to penalties just in general through camp? And was a penalty tied to you sending Alex Kappa off the field today?
Yeah, that was the dumbest one of all, because we just stood there and said we're going to use a hard count. We always use a hard count coming off the one, and that just showed where their minds were on offense, because Cap's usually very dependable. The penalties themselves have been very, very low. I don't know who reported that there was a penalty on the kickoff, but that was one of the yellow hats they were wearing. Nobody threw any flags on the scrimmage Friday, and then we have very, very few penalties in that scrimmage.
Thanks.
Okay, our next question is going to come from John Ledyard.
Coach, I'm just curious, with 2 tight end sets this year and 12 personnel in general, you've talked about it being a base offense or earlier in the offseason. Is that still continuing to be a kind of your thought process as you look at the group and how the tight ends have worked out so far at training camp, that you'd like to get at least 2 of those guys on the field as much as possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's been our base offense probably for 15 years, and that's where we always start. And, so as we progress, whether we use 2 or 3. So we have quality people there. So we also have really quality receivers. So it's all about finding the right mismatches.
All right, our last one's going to come from Rick Stroud.
Coach, just back to the kicking for a second. I mean, I know that's one thing that's been a story here in Tampa for a while.
What's that, Rick? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, just the kicking. I know it's been a
Oh, yeah.
story here in Tampa for a while.
Yeah.
As a head coach, I mean, you know, how difficult is it? I mean, those guys seem to be a bunch of guys out there, right? But you're looking for exactly what?
I'm looking for consistency on the gimmies.
Yeah.
You know, we can't miss extra points. We can't give away easy points. Kicks inside the 30-yard line should be automatic. Now, if you can hit a 56-yarder, that's great. But when we drive the ball down to the 10 and miss a field goal, there's nothing that tears a team more apart than on offense than just, hey, we just took the ball down the field, we didn't get any points. So the gimmies, who's the most consistent? Now, if you can do that and still kick 56, 57, now you're all pro.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys and girls.